Okay, we are here. It's very hot where I am, and we have some background noise because of the fans running. So I hope that you can hear me. And today, for Friday, Soulful Friday, what I want to talk about is something really important, and you'll be able to stick with me through this. Oh, do we have a glitch? No, I don't think so. If you are watching and everything's looking good on your end, I think I'm just going to turn Facebook off. Here we go, so that we don't have a cross post there or anything like that. All right, so we want to talk today, or I want to talk to you today about the relationship to self and how to start to distinguish between the little s self and the capital S self, because your true relationship is your primary relationship to yourself. And if that's fractured, right, then your other relationships are going to be fractured too. So this is critical. If you are looking outward and looking to your partner, your children, your friends, and wondering, God, like, what's wrong? Like, how come these relationships are, why are my relationships so tense or so, you know, filled with drama or conflict, then really you need to stop looking out there to fix those relationships and turn inward to really work on the relationship you have with yourself. So it's capital S. So little s, let's distinguish these. Capital S is like your spirit self. Little s is your relationship to your body, this lifetime, your successes, your failures, who likes you, who doesn't, who your parents were, what happened to you. All of those things are connected to the little s self, but your spiritual context, your spiritual self, and your relationship to that takes it to a much bigger place. And really what we're talking about here, it's your relationship to your true self is the one that you have with God. Now, remember, if you don't like that word, if that's not a word that feels good for you, it's one that you have with love. Okay, that's what started to make it better for me, because I spent so much time, I spent so much time in not a loving relationship with myself. And this is really where things start. Now, if you take a look at like any spiritual guru or someone that you consider to be enlightened, what enlightenment means is a shift in self-perception from body identification, little s self, to spirit identification. And in order to be much more comfortable in your skin, the skin that you're in, then you need to be so much more comfortable being in deep relationship with your spiritual self. And I guess what A Course in Miracles says is your spiritual self is it's how you find the right relationship to your mortal self, the self that's here on this planet in your body at this time, living the life that you're living, but really understanding what the bigger picture is, because there is indeed a bigger picture. I spent many years arguing this, denying this, fighting this, not understanding this. And back when I started studying A Course in Miracles, it was a long time, it's more than a decade ago. I used to, I definitely know I did not understand the lessons, but something happens as we age and go through hardship and pain and suffering. We start to learn, and we start to learn at a much deeper level. So the spirit world is our ultimate home. And, I've argued with this in light of some recent circumstances in my life, because I so desperately want for the little s self bodies of people that I love and care for to be here with me in physical form. But some of them have now passed on. And what we want to understand is that A Course in Miracles says every moment, the thoughts of God, the thoughts of love are either going to be downloading into your consciousness, or you are going to be unconsciously downloading the thoughts of fear. When we're over body identified, when we are over connected to the little s self, the relationship that we have to the little aspects of us, and we are ignoring the connection, the deeper connection to our big S self, the spiritual self, well, then that can bring this existential crisis. It really can. It can bring this, what am I here for? What am I doing? What's my purpose? Is this it? This is all there is. And that can feel very fraught. We keep wondering what we need to do, that maybe we need to change things, change relationships, change jobs, go traveling, find ourselves, have your own eat, pray, love moment. Except that's not what it's about. It's working on your relationships, and the relationship that you have with you will create all sorts of situations and circumstances in your life. In fact, it'll create all sorts of situations and circumstances in your life with other people as well, because every situation is a relationship, right? Have you noticed the problems that you have in your life do not exist completely in isolation? They will be contingent and based on other people, whether it's even casual acquaintances who annoy you on a board meeting or what, you know what I mean, right? So, you know what the best part is every situation that we're in, what if you were to start to look at it as an assignment? You were here to learn, and the plan is for you to be brought into contact with people who are either going to challenge you and have you grow, or you're going to shrink back and go back to old ways. So if someone brings out the worst in you, I've had a few people who absolutely bring out the worst in me, then that's a perfect lesson, because what it's doing is it's coming through a situation, a circumstance, a relationship where I will have the chance to do better, to be that spiritual self and have a deeper connection to love, being that extension to love, as opposed to getting caught in my little s self where I can become righteous and arrogant and be a victim and blame and judge and all of those things. So this is the beauty of the teachers in our life. So maybe right now, think of that challenging person, that person who, oh my God, life would be so much easier if they just weren't in your life, right? If you didn't have to deal day in, day out. Sometimes, in a very divine way, sometimes those people are our family members. Sometimes they're people that we can't escape from. We can't cut off relationships from or with. We have to endure them. But are you going to endure them and tolerate them? Or are you going to be able to create a shift in your perspective on how you view yourself, how you view that relationship, and how you view that person? So actually that relationship can turn from one of tension and heartbreak to love and joy, because it is up to us. Now, there's going to be different kinds of relationships in your life. You might have, the first level is the casual encounter. It's the barista. I think I've talked about this. It's who are you going to bring out? What are you going to bring out in that person, and what is that person going to bring out in yourself? And it's easy to think about road rage, right? The person who's driving behind you on your tailgating and then cuts around you and cuts right back in, and you can have feelings around it, and yet we have no idea what that person's going through. Maybe they're rushing to the hospital, maybe who knows, right? But it's, where do we go in our mind? So just like you get to decide what you want your body to look like, just like, and that, trust me, that is a decision. You may not like the decisions that you've made that have led to the creation of the physical self, little self body that you're in now, but you can change that. We're working on that, right? This is more about understanding that it's a cultivation of a skill set to learn how to deeply connect to your spiritual self, just like it's a skill set to learn how to change your body. And it takes time. It's like, for this part of it, it's like attitudinal musculature that we're strengthening. And you have to decide what you want your personality to look like. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Just like our bodies are at the effect of gravity, the same is true of our mind and our personalities. You are at the effect of your personality, but you can also have influence on that by deciding, who do you want to be? What's your way of being? And how are you going to choose to bring that out in every circumstance, whether it be at one that you deem good or one that you feel is hard? So this is a practice. Spirituality, I'm realizing, it's not like an aha moment where you get ordained and now all of a sudden, you're spiritual. It's different than that. It's a practice. You have to practice not just being positive, but actually making the decision to be happy, regardless of the circumstances and situations in your life, because you know what? Those are ever changing. They're ever changing. So if your happiness is contingent on, if this, then I'll be happy, then your life is up for grabs, because you're just going to be a weeble wobble, constantly blowing in the wind, depending on what else is happening. And you're not at the, you don't have the ability to influence the world or other people or your community. You have the ability to have control over it and influence yourself. Now, one of the things that A Course in Miracles says, and actually this is from AA as well, is it's easier to act yourself into a new way of thinking. It's easier than thinking your way into a new way of being, okay? So if you just start to act in the way that you want to act, you start to be loving when you feel like being bitchy, you feel like you choose to take the high road. And this doesn't mean that you marginalize your feelings. We have to be very careful about this as women. Doesn't mean you marginalize your feelings. It means you choose how you share your feelings. Are you attacking, judging, blaming, or are you owning and up-leveling? Are you choosing to be your best? Are you choosing to be your best? Take a look at your relationships right now. Are you really giving what you can give? Are you waiting to get? In my experience, a lot of people are waiting to get. When I get this, then I'm going to do that, because they're still operating under the fear of the ego voice, which says you're not enough, you're going to get hurt, you better protect yourself, you better stay safe. And then we don't give, we build up walls, and the walls keep us trapped behind them. So the beautiful thing is when you are motivated by being a perfect extension of love today, and in fact, I challenge you to practice it. Even just choose to recognize that we are here to give love, be love, accept love, receive love. We are beings of love, right? We are beings of God. See how it goes like that? But when you're in touch with yourself, then it's easy to have a better life, a happier life, a more fulfilled life. And of course, I mean your spiritual self. But at the end of the day, discipline in this area is required, because the ego's voice, and of course in Miracle says it speaks first, it speaks loudest, and it's the meanest. There will always be the temptation of the ego, which is a loveless, right? The loveless mindset, to separate you from God, to separate you from love, and to separate you from inner peace. And it will want to minimize the importance of the spiritual connection by telling you that you don't have time, that it's not needed, what's it going to do for you anyway? You might as well just go and get stuff done. You've got stuff to do. Oh man, it's so brutal. Anyways, I just wanted to leave you with this today. It's one of the key lessons I've learned in my last half year, is that when I choose to be in this place, I'm a better person. My relationships are more fulfilling, and I have less challenging circumstances and situations in my life. In fact, even the hardest of hard circumstances and situations in my life, I'm dealing with them better. I understand how to show up, that my personality, my personal reality, how I want to experience things is under my influence. Now, sometimes there's going to be a temptation in your current life, in your current relationships, to start to bring in shadow figures from your past. And shadow figures from your past means you're maybe, say, with an amazing man right now, but you were hurt in the past. And you hang on to that hurt in the past, and you kind of hold this man in your life now hostage to whatever happened to you. But see, here's the thing. Time is in the mind. The past doesn't exist except in someone's mind. And so when you exist with God in the eternal now, then the present moment has been programmed for perfection. It's our mind that grabs on to all the shit from the past that we drag with us. And then it's our ego that creates all the fear of our future that we pull from our future and into our now. And that's when it starts to get hard. So a lot of this is learning how to empty your mind, to let the universe work through it, because the miracle of divine correction can't occur if you're bringing shadows from your past or fear from your future into your now. I can talk more about this another time, but this is where it's at. You get to have every thought, every interaction, everything that you do to start to become one where you choose to be curious. And that's the place I started. Can I just be curious about the situation? What's going on for that person? What else might I not know? What else might have just happened? What's another way to look at this? What's another way to think about this? And then we get to ask yourselves, are you carrying shit from your past into your now with every interaction that you have, holding people hostage to who they were when they once hurt you back in the past, which doesn't exist anymore except in your mind? In your mind, you have control over what you think. See, sneaky. I'm going to stop there for today. I thank you for watching. If you're watching, if you have comments or questions on these, please type them in. These are just little moments of snippets of learnings that I want to share with my community, because for me, these lessons are everything and have helped me become a happier, peaceful, better woman. All right, everybody. See you later.